90% of the people using AI right now are doing the equivalent of buying a Ferrari and driving it to the mailbox. They open ChatGPT, they type, write me an Instagram caption, and they're shocked when the output sounds like it was written by a robot pretending to be a person. Now, look, sales copy that I have written has sold literally $1 billion worth of stuff. So I know the difference between great copy and AI slop. And I'm telling you that I've got Claude writing copy better and faster than I can. Not only that, but in just the last year, AI has allowed me to cut my payroll in half, downsize from 40 team members to 15, and literally 10x our productivity. I'm not kidding. And it's all because I figured something out that most people haven't. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that is and how you can use it starting today. So if you're a coach, a consultant, a therapist, or any kind of expert, or if you're running a service business of any kind and you want to take advantage of the AI revolution to actually put more money in your pocket, hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in. I'm Russ Ruffino. I'm the founder of Clients on Demand. In the last 12 years, we've helped over 6,000 coaches, consultants, and experts build high ticket businesses. This channel is about one thing: pulling back the curtain and showing you what we've learned from 9 figures in high ticket sales. Now, quick disclaimer, not promising you're going to make a dime from this. I'm just sharing what's working for us right now. So hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. All right, here's the thing nobody told you about AI. The technology is not the bottleneck. You are. So the gap between people who are getting insane results from AI and people who think it's overhyped comes down to one thing: how you talk to it. Not the tool, not the subscription tier, not which chatbot you picked, the input. So AI is a mirror. If you give it something generic, you're going to get back something generic. If you give it something specific, I mean, your voice, your frameworks, your expertise, your audience's exact pain points, it's going to give you back something that feels like it was pulled out of your brain by somebody who knows you better than you know yourself. That's the unlock. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it across the 4 areas where it matters most. So let me tell you something that might sting just a little bit. Here's the number one reason that most coaches, consultants, experts, and business owners are getting garbage from AI. And I'm going to be blunt about this because I used to make the same mistake. The reason is you're being lazy with your prompts. Now, look, I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it literally. You're typing 3 sentences into a chatbot and you're expecting a masterpiece. Hey, write me a sales email, get me a webinar script, get me 10 social media posts. And then the AI spits out something that sounds like every other piece of generic content everywhere else on the internet. And you go, see, AI doesn't work for my business. And it's like, no, AI works beautifully. You just gave it nothing to work with. So think about it this way. Let's say you go out there and you hire a top tier master level copywriter, somebody brilliant, somebody with 50 million, $100 million in sales under their belt, but they've never met you before. And you walk into the sales room and you say, hey, write me a sales email. And that's it. What would you expect to get back? Right? Something generic, something that sounds like every other sales email, because it doesn't matter how good this copywriter is, they don't know you. They don't know your voice. They don't know your audience. They don't know what keeps your clients up at night. AI is that copywriter. It's brilliant. It's capable of extraordinary work and it's damn fast, but it's completely dependent on what you give it. And once you start to realize that the quality of the output is a direct reflection of the quality of the input, like everything changes. So this actually reminds me of something from early in my career. Years ago, before Clients on Demand, before any of this, I would buy programs from people who were way more successful than me. Good programs, proven systems, and I would just like ignore most of the instructions, right? So I would like cherry pick the pieces that I agreed with and I would skip the rest. And I'd think, yeah, but my situation is different. That's not going to work for me. And I spent years, and I mean years, buying great advice and then not following it because I thought I knew better. And looking back, the thing that was costing me wasn't a lack of information. It was my own arrogance about how to use the information that I already had. And AI is the same trap. The tool is extraordinary, but if you approach it with a, just give me the answer mentality, if you skip the setup, if you don't feed it your specifics, if you treat it like a search engine instead of a collaborator, then you're going to get the same crappy results that everyone else is getting. And you're going to blame the tool and you're going to write the whole thing off. So here's the framework that I use. I call it prompt architecture. The idea is simple. Before you ask the AI for anything, you build the architecture first. You tell it who you are, not just your name, your expertise, your track record, your credibility, your unique philosophy. Like my AI knows that I built a $100 million high ticket coaching company. It knows that I've worked with 6,000 clients. It knows my voice, my webinars, my frameworks, my story. It knows how old my kids are. It knows what my kids like, what my wife likes. It knows who I'm talking to, right? Not just coaches, but the exact person. Their income level, their frustrations, what they've tried before, what they're secretly afraid of, what they really want underneath the thing they say they want, right? What they actually want. So I don't say, write me an email. I say, write a 500-word email to burnt out therapists making $80,000 who've tried 2 coaching programs and are skeptical, but they're still searching. That email should open with a provocative stat. It should build empathy in the first 3 lines, and it should close with a soft CTA to book a call. Use my voice, direct, warm, no hype. You see, generic in, generic out, brilliance in, brilliance out. That's it. That's the whole game. So you see the difference? The first prompt takes like 3 seconds. The second takes 3 minutes or maybe longer. But the output isn't just 10% better, it's a totally different universe. And you've done this before, right? You've typed something quick into ChatGPT and you've gotten something back that sounded like a Wikipedia article and you thought, well, that was useless. And it was because you didn't give it what it needed. You follow? Okay, so here's a rule I live by now. I spend more time on the prompt than I do editing the output. So when the prompt is right, I literally barely need to touch the output. But when the prompt is lazy, no amount of editing is going to save it. And this applies across every single use case. So let me walk you through the 4 that I use most. And look, quick note, if you want help putting together an AI powered business that actually works, there's a link in the description of the video to book a call with my team. We're going to look at your situation. It's there if you want it. We're here to help. All right, let's keep going. The first one might be the most valuable thing I share in this entire video. The way that I use AI is to create programs, and I mean entire programs, curriculums, lesson plans, exercises, coaching frameworks in literally just a few minutes. Now, here's what this used to look like. Let's say you're a nutritionist. You want to create an 8-week program for women over 40 with hormonal imbalances. Now, pre AI, you're spending 2 months mapping out the curriculum. You're writing every lesson. You're creating every worksheet. You're designing the delivery schedule. Maybe you're hiring a designer to help you do that. Now, today, you sit down with AI and you say, I'm a certified nutritionist with 15 years of experience, specializing in hormonal health for women over 40. Here's my methodology. Here's my frameworks. Here's exactly how I do this. Here's the steps that I take my clients through. My typical client is a woman aged 42 to 55. She's a professional. She's making 6 figures. She's tried keto, Weight Watchers, maybe, to whatever, counting calories, tried her doctor's generic advice, and nothing has worked because nobody addressed the hormonal piece. Build me an 8-week group program with weekly modules, coaching call agendas, and homework assignments that get us to measurable results by week 2. And the more detail you give it, what you're going to get back is staggering. Not generic filter, a structured program that reflects your methodology, your voice, your expertise. Now, will it need editing? Yes. Is it perfect out of the box? No, but it's going to get you 80 to 90% of the way there in an hour instead of 8 weeks. And here's the part that matters. It frees up your time to do what only you can do, which is actually coach the people inside the program. So as you begin to see the possibilities here, you realize that the bottleneck to scaling was never your expertise. It was how you packaged your expertise. And that's what AI solves. Now, some of you are thinking, okay, well, Russ, won't this program sound like every other program? Yeah, but only if your prompt is generic. So you've got your own methodologies, you've got your own frameworks, you've got your own clinical experience. And the more you give it, the output will be as unique as you are. So it doesn't replace your expertise, but it packages it, it organizes it. Now, the second leverage point literally saved me like probably 300 hours last year, and I'm not exaggerating. Copy, webinar invites, follow up sequences, landing pages, all of it. I've been writing copy for 12 years. I've personally written sales pages, like I said, that have generated $1 billion in sales. So I know copy, and I'm telling you, AI has completely changed how I approach it. So here's how it works in practice. We ran a promotion recently. I needed a 7 email sequence. So cart open, cart close, urgency building, an emotional arc, across the entire thing, I didn't just say, hey, write me 7 emails. I gave the AI my voice guide, a document that describes exactly how I sound, my go to phrases, what I avoid, how I build arguments. I gave it transcripts of my coaching calls and webinars. I gave it the offer details, the customer avatar, all that stuff. And it produced a 7 email sequence, and I barely had to change a word. And my team read it and said, Russ, when did you write these? They couldn't tell it wasn't me. Right? So in a way, AI didn't really write those emails. I wrote those emails. AI just kind of put it all together for me because the strategic thinking, the voice, the psychology, all of that comes from my inputs. Now, let me be honest. This is where most people's ego gets in the way. I'm the creative one. I'm the writer. AI can't do what I do. And maybe, but can you write a 7 email sequence that kicks ass in 5 minutes? Because I just did. Because the quality wasn't 10% less than what I'd write manually, it was maybe 1% less. And sometimes even better. Because AI doesn't have writer's block. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't like get lazy on the subject lines. So at the end of the day, results are our religion at Clients on Demand. And if the result is a better email that converts more prospects into clients who get their lives changed, I don't give a shit who wrote the email. I care about the outcome. Okay, the third one is the reason you're watching this video right now. And I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. Content creation, YouTube scripts, social media posts, podcast outlines, blog articles, short form video scripts. Here's the truth about content. The hard part was never the ideas. The hard part is the execution. It's taking what's in your head and turning it into a 30-minute YouTube video or like a 5-minute email nurture sequence or 20 pieces of social media content for the month. And that execution barrier just disappeared. So I have AI systems that know my story bank. Every personal story I tell, organized by category, long, medium, short versions. It knows my frameworks, my voice, which topics I've covered recently. So I'm not like repeating myself. And when I want to create a YouTube script like this, I don't have to start from a blank page anymore. I work with AI, flesh out the topic, outline it, organize what I want to say. And then AI helps me put it together into a script that works. And it packages it into a 25-minute script with pattern interrupts and CTAs and the whole 9 yards. So I want to be transparent with you. This video you're watching right now, AI helped me put this all together. And I'm not ashamed of that because all these ideas are mine. The stories are mine. The experience is mine. The voice is mine. AI just helped me get it from an idea in my head to something on the page 20, 100, a million times faster than I could ever have done it by myself. That is not cheating. That is the future. AI did not give me 12 years of experience. AI did not give me 6,000 clients. It didn't give me $100 million in revenue for myself or $1 billion in sales. It didn't give me the scar tissue from all the mistakes that I've made. What it's doing is enabling me to share that with you faster in a more structured way than I could do it alone. All right, last one, and this is the sleeper. Nobody talks about it. It might be the most powerful of the four, and that's audience research. Understanding who you're talking to at a depth that most people cannot reach. Most business owners only have a very surface level understanding of their audience. Maybe they know the demographics, the general pain points. My audience is women over 40 who want to lose weight. It's like, okay, that's not, that's everybody. What keeps her up at 3 a.m.? Not she wants to lose weight. What's the real thing? Is it that she caught her reflection in the gym mirror? She didn't recognize herself. Is it that her husband looked at her differently and she felt it, but he never said anything? Is that her doctor said something about, her A1C, and for the first time she felt a little scared? That is the level of specificity that makes for great marketing. And AI can help you get there and it can do it fast. When you really understand that your audience is needing certain things and wanting certain things, and you understand that at a deep level, your copy basically writes itself because you're not guessing anymore. You're speaking directly to a specific human with a specific fear. So here's what I tell AI. You're a 47-year-old female executive. You make $200,000 a year. You've been diagnosed with early stage insulin resistance. You've tried keto twice. You couldn't sustain it. You feel like your body betrayed you because you used to be athletic. Your biggest fear isn't dying, it's losing your edge. Walk me through a typical Wednesday, morning to night, including the moments where your health issue shows up, and tell me the stuff that you would never tell anyone else. And what you get back is a day in the life that is so specific, so human, that when you put that language into your marketing, people will think you're reading their diary. So most people use AI as an output machine, give me content. But the real power is using it as an empathy machine. It helps you understand your audience better than you could. ever, whether you use surveys or focus groups or guesswork. It's just, you're going to get better outcomes from AI, because when you understand someone deeply, selling to them isn't selling, it's just helping. So stop using AI to write at your audience and start using AI to understand them so deeply that your content feels like a conversation they've been waiting to have. Now, I want to zoom out. I want to share something from a completely different world that explains a little more about why this works. In 1997, IBM's Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov. He was the greatest chess player who ever lived. And everybody thought that was the end. Computers beat humans, game over, humans are obsolete at chess. But then something strange happened. A few years later, a new type of chess tournament appeared. It was called freestyle. Anybody could enter. Pure humans, pure computers, or this is the key, human and computer teams. And they called these teams centaurs. And here's what blew everybody's mind: the centaurs beat everybody. They beat the grandmasters, they beat the supercomputers. So a decent human player working with an AI consistently outperformed both the best humans playing alone and the best AIs playing alone. So sit with that for a second. The combination of human judgment plus AI was stronger than either one alone. Why? Because the human brought something the computer couldn't: intuition, creativity, the ability to feel whether a position was right, even when the math was ambiguous. And the computer brought calculation and speed and pattern recognition across millions of games. And together, that was the best combination. So I want you to really feel what this means for your business. You are the human half of a centaur now, right? Your experience, your expertise, your stories, your empathy, your ability to create real transformation in people's lives, that's irreplaceable. But AI is the other half. That brings the speed, the scale, the pattern recognition, the tireless execution. So here's something I've been saying for 12 years: information does not create transformation. If it did, everybody with a library card would be rich. But AI is the greatest information engine ever created. But the transformation, that is still you. That's still human, and it always will be. So the Centaur model says don't compete with AI, don't resist AI, partner with it. Let it do the information work and you handle the transformation work. That is the winning position. So you are the human half of the Centaur, AI is the other half, and together you're unstoppable, but apart, you're leaving most of your potential on the table. So, what does this look like in practice? AI can flesh out your program curriculum and you deliver the coaching. AI can write your email sequence, you bring the voice and the conviction behind it. AI can outline your content, you add the stories, the emotion, the you. AI researches your audience, you bring the empathy, the relationship. So, in every case, you're not being replaced, you're being amplified. The things you're already great at, AI makes them reach further, land harder, scale faster. Now, look, I wouldn't be honest with you if I didn't talk about the trap, because there is a trap. The danger of AI, and I mean this seriously, is that it makes it easy to become generic if you're lazy. So if you use it as a crutch instead of a tool, you'll start to sound like everybody else. Your emails will sound like everybody else's emails. Your content will sound like everybody else's content. Your programs are going to look like everybody else's programs. Because here's what most people don't realize: when you use default prompts or some random prompt you found on Twitter, or X or whatever it's called now, AI pulls from the average of everything it's been trained on. And the average is average by definition. So if you're not feeding it your unique perspective, your stories, your frameworks, your hard won wisdom, you are not getting AI augmented content. You're getting AI averaged content. And average content does not create greatness, it just makes noise. So ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you read an email or watched a video and you thought, dude, this was clearly written by AI? You could tell because it was completely soulless, right? There's no personality, there's no person behind it. And that's what happens when people use AI and don't like pour themselves into it and give it the raw materials. So I'll give you another quick example. Two therapists, both of them writing to their list about anxiety, both writing an email. Therapist A types, write an email about anxiety for my therapy clients. And it gets back. Anxiety is a common challenge that affects millions of people. In this email, we'll explore strategies for managing anxiety effectively. Right? It sounds like a WebMD article. Just delete. Therapist B types, I'm a trauma therapist who specializes in high achieving women who look like they have it all together, but have panic attacks in their car before walking into the office. Write an email in my voice, warm, direct, slightly irreverent, that opens with the image of sitting in a parking lot with your heart racing, pretending to be on a phone call so that nobody sees you falling apart. End it with an invitation to stop performing and start healing. The difference, one of them is content, the other one is connection. Same tool, totally different output. So here's what you need to decide right now. Are you going to use AI as a shortcut or as a multiplier? A shortcut means you're letting AI do the thinking for you, but a multiplier means you do the thinking first and then you let AI execute it at scale. So shortcuts, I tell you, produce average work. Multipliers produce extraordinary work much faster. So AI does not have a soul, but it can have your soul if you put it in. And if you don't, you're going to get boring, emotionally dead content. The business owners who figure this out are going to dominate the next decade. They're going to produce more content, better content, and more human content than everyone else because they're going to use AI to amplify their humanity instead of just replacing it. The people who treat AI as like a do it for me button, they're going to get buried in a sea of sameness. All right. Let me leave you with this. Year from now, every single expert in your market is going to be using AI. Every one of them, because the people who don't are going to be out of business. It's not going to be optional. It's going to be like having a social media presence, right? The question is not whether you're going to use AI. The question is how well you use it. So picture this. It's a year from now. It's Wednesday morning. You sit down with your coffee, you open up your laptop, your AI assistant who's trained on your voice, your frameworks, your whole methodology has drafted 8 pieces of content for the week, an email to your list, a YouTube script outline, carousel post. You check them out, you read through them. They sound like you, not like a robot impersonating you, like you on your best day when your thinking is sharpest and your energy is the highest. And you spend 45 minutes refining it. You add a personal story here, you sharpen something here, you tweak the CTA, and then you're done for the week. It used to take you 12 hours. Now it takes less than one. People used to have content teams. They were paying 20, 30, $40,000 a month. AI can do all of that now. The rest of your day, now you can take care of your clients. You could coach. You could do the deep human work that changes people's lives. You can be present with your family in the evening because you're not up until midnight, like writing emails. Your kid walks in while you're at the kitchen table and says, "Wow, you're in a good mood." And you say, "Yes, I am, son," because you're not drowning in busy work. You're doing the work that matters. That is reality right now, today. And that is what I want for you. So, look, if you want help building a business that uses AI as leverage instead of a crutch, just click the link in the description of the video and book a call with my team. We will look at your business, what you're offering, who you're serving, where you're stuck, and we'll tell you honestly whether we can help. No games. And if you got value from this video, hit the subscribe button. I'm going deep on this stuff because I believe the next 12 months are going to be transformative. You're either going to get on this AI train and learn how to use it, or you're going to get left in the dust. And I want you in that first group who are using AI to enhance everything you're doing. All right, drop a comment and tell me what's the one thing you've used AI for that actually surprised you. I read every comment and I'll catch you in the next video.